Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Checkmate on Hot 96. It is the 7th of December 2025 and it's 7 p.m. The time when we talk politics, and of course it is yet another time where we take stock of what has happened in the country. And this week two things happened. There's been some gold that has been discovered in Kakamega County in Ikolomani region there, and of course we also had the former or the immediate former chief whip of the majority party in the Senate, Dr. Boni Khalwale, also being ejected from that position, and he's now talking and speaking openly about his position back during that time. And of course he's here in studio today to tell us and explain to us really what happened, and of course just going into that issue that has been that has led to actually 4 deaths now in Kakamega County. Senator, thank you very much for coming. It is a great pleasure to have you here.
You're welcome na wananchi hamjambo. Asante sana.
Yeah, let's start with the gold. There's this area. I think you're best to tell us where exactly this gold is. There's been some gold that has really caused 4 deaths now in Ikolomani. What is the problem? What is happening there?
Maybe I start by correcting you a little. You've just told listeners that and viewers that gold has been discovered in Ikolomani. Mm-hmm. That is not true.
Mm-hmm. Gold has been there.
I remember when I was 10 years old, the artisanal miners from my village in Malinya, there were so many. In fact, one famous one was called Muchisa. Muchisa was a great artisan. There have been, and that is when I was 10 years old. That's almost 50 years ago. So it has been going on. The only thing that has happened is that whereas it has mainly been small scale, mm-hmm, through artisanal and miners, and of course small scale miners, now the big players want to come in. So the big players did exploration, which has taken so long, and they came up with an announcement that we had deposits that were equivalent to 36,000 kilograms. So this being the case, they started the steps to now to do proper mining. And as expected, they went to the government, and the government told them it's okay. But they forgot that there are people living in those fields. So the people living in the fields now are demanding for a hearing. Mm-hmm. That's all that is going on now. Okay. So given a hearing, mm-hmm, and it is very easy, mm-hmm, that hearing will be done through their leaders, mm-hmm, this thing will be controlled.
800 households, yes, in that entire region. Yeah. I don't know, how big is the area with gold deposits? How big is it?
Gold is found in the so-called the Liranda Belt. The Liranda Belt stretches from Shinyalu constituency, the Lurambi constituency, Ikolomani constituency, and parts of Vihiga County, specifically Sabatia constituency. So we are talking about vast area, mm-hmm, where this gold is. Mm-hmm. However, in the proposal by the Shanta Gold, which wants to make the investment, they propose that they acquire 337 acres of land. That will be the reason for displacing 800 households. Given our family sizes, 800 households, usually with a household being a man, wife, children, and grandchildren, it is between 10 to 15 people per household. So we are talking displacement of 8 to 15,000 Kenyans. So it's a big thing. Yeah. And this is why, for the 3rd time, the government has tried to force itself into the place without much success.
About 15,000 people. Yes. Are we talking about a whole constituency? If they were to be moved away, that would be close to a constituency.
10 to 15,000 in the 337 acres.
Okay.
But we know that having entered at that point of 337 acres, the mining company will then create tunnels underneath, and those tunnels will be able to reach all the areas that I've mentioned from Shinyalu to Lurambi to Ikolomani and parts of Vihiga County, Sabatia constituency. So this calls for sobriety because it has got implications beyond relocation of people, namely the environmental impact on rivers, the impact on existing institutions, and if we have time I'll be able to mention some of them.
Yeah, let's mention them.
Yes. So these are the things that call for sobriety. As a leader who has not only led the community for many years, I'm also part of the development of some of those institutions. We are talking about knocking down or affecting Liranda Girls High School, Kakamega High School, Mukumu Hospital, Mukumu Boys High School, Mukumu Girls High School, Shikalagala National Polytechnic, Musingo High School, Malinya Girls High School, Shikunga High School, Ereki Teachers Training College, Ereki Girls High School, Musoli Girls High School, and so on, and Wishangala Technical Training Institutes. So because gold is gold, nobody is thinking about those institutions. So we want to say, okay, investor, sit here. How do we do this in the short term and in the long term? They can say they are doing underground mining and therefore the institutions will exist on the ground. But the truth is, the moment you go underground, you'll affect, no, they're going beyond a kilometer, so the structures can stand. But below that structures, that is where we extract our water to run these institutions, because we have done boreholes in just about everybody, in all those institutions. And what's more, there's a major river, the River Yala, that crosses through that. There is a major river, the river is Yuho, huge rivers that that drain into Tanzania and eventually go to Lake Victoria. So this conversation needs to take place. Why I stand with the people and I run the risk of being misunderstood by the government, which I fought for, is that the government is in a hurry to implement a project that requires deep consultation, a project that requires appreciation of its impact.
Okay.
You see, we are not in the 19th century. When these people came, they once came. They have been mining gold from the 1940s in Kakamega.
Company?
No, the British.
Excluding the Shanta Gold.
Shanta Gold maybe is coming in for the first time,
okay.
Or partnership has changed and there's some people. So in the 1940s, they were mining and they just walked in and started mining. They didn't care because we didn't have a voice. But people are now politically independent. People are now better educated. People now appreciate globalization. So with this new scenario obtaining, we are saying, talk to us. We have our ideas. We want to hear your ideas.
What would be wrong with the government trying to get this and help? Because we are trying to move to the first world level.
Yes. They are using the old model, for which we already have legislation in Parliament, is outdated. It says an investor comes in and the investor pays the country royalties. So from the sales of the gold, which will be worth 680 billion shillings, the investor is supposed to pay royalties of up to 5%. So those royalties, then the government is supposed to say thank you so much for those royalties. 5% of 680 billion, which is round about 3 to 4 billion shillings only. So an investor comes, walks away with all that and leaves us with 3 to 4 billion, of which that 4 billion, the national government will take 70% of it, the county government will take 20% of it, and us, the people of Ikolomani, we shall remain with a paltry 5%. Now, we are saying that's okay, that's the old model. But we have a new model which has been tested in other African countries and other third world countries that will create empowerment rather than exploitation. It is this model that we are requesting in a roundtable meeting here in Nairobi or in London with the whoever investor it is. We tell them we want to use this model. And what is the model? We are telling the government that we want to own the gold as a people. The Constitution of Kenya, Article 62, speaks to this. It says all mineral resources are owned by the people of Kenya. So we are saying we want to be given an opportunity to exploit that particular resource. And our proposal is we allow shareholding. The majority to be owned by the counties of Kakamega, Bungoma, Vihiga, Trans Nzoia, and Busia. Why? Because we are the local communities. Nobody should bash me now. Yes, yeah. Nobody should bash me now that why do you want this national wealth majority to be held by Luyas? My answer is very quick. Don't be selective. Today, the Amboseli is owned by the Maasai. Today, the Masai Mara is owned by the Maasai, and they are living on very well. So we want to be given that opportunity. After that, we will create automatic ownership. And the automatic ownership will be that now this gold is not in all the Luya counties. The automatic ownership now will be for the people of Ikolomani, where the gold actually is, and Lurambi, and Shinyalu, and sections of Vihiga. These people automatically, each individual will have a share. From there, we are proposing that we want to create a gold city. A gold city based on the proceeds that are obvious running into a fortune. Why this gold city is attractive? It is because we learn from the world best practices. The birds of Dubai, 50 years ago there was no Dubai. But because of being mineral rich, they were not thrown out of Dubai. Instead, they created a city that was born out of the mineral gold oil. So we want a city to be created in Western. A Western city, the gold city. When the whites started mining gold, is when they asked, what is the name of this place? So there was no name. And then the white man was eating, and he touched the ugali so as to become friendly to the villagers. So the villagers said, Hameka. That, oh, he has also taken a piece. And then the guy said, what did he say? The other said, Hameka, because the communication was poor. Then he said, this place is the place of the people of Kakamega.
And that also extends to Ikolomani, which was a gold mine.
Ikolomani is the Kakamega is the bigger one, but it also includes Ikolomani, Shinyalu, and Lurambi.
These percentages, because we know that the counties are supposed to get at least, they're now getting about 385 billion shillings from the national share of the national revenue. In this model that you're talking about, you already know that we have 680 billion shillings. Yes. How much should go to the national government?
If you run a butcher in Chepkupe, who go at home, you go to somebody's home, you tell him, I can't sell meat today because I want you to sell me this bull of yours. He pays you for the price of the bull. If the bull, our bulls are usually around 100 to 150,000. He pays you your 100,000 for your bull, and he goes to the market. to sell it at the butcher. It is up to him now to get whatever markup on it in terms of profit, depending on how well he negotiated with you. So we want that discussion about our gold, that you have gold worth 680, but because you cannot be able to extract, we will pay you half of it, and then the other half will help us to mine and process and market so that we make our profit. That is the natural human way of looking at it. But you come to my homestead, you take my bull, you go with the entire bull, you tell, I'll sell this bull, and when I finish selling, I'll bring you 10,000 as what you must have made from it. And yet I have been with this bull from the time he was a heifer and fed him up to the weight of being worth 150,000 shillings.
Okay. So in short, you don't have the number?
No, we can't have the number. Okay. The number must be agreed on, it must be legal. Otherwise, if it is not legal, the court...
proposal?
Yes, the proposal I've been making is that we will need to go back to Parliament. This is a wake-up call now. Laws are repealed. Laws are changed. We are going to change that law. That law was to attract investors because we didn't know what we were sitting on. Nobody is inciting them. They know what is the value down there. They do. And I would like the media, you accompany me. We go to the gold mine. We go down. You don't die by going down. We go down with you. Yes. We go. You see with your own eyes. Let me tell you how difficult this thing is. People die in the gold mines because of the challenges of poor oxygen delivery down there. And I know of a case, not one, several, where a colleague dies. They are down there 200 feet below, and when he's dead, these boys refuse to report up that their colleague is dead. They are more in a hurry to extract the gold, and the issue of the dead guy can come after 2-3 days. 3 months ago, we had another collapsed mine at a place called Machiris at Kakamega. We were there for 5 days fighting, pumping oxygen into those holes, fighting so that the bodies could come out, and the guys were busy bringing us soil of gold instead of bringing the bodies, because they knew the pure oxygen was now giving them a better opportunity to bring it. It is that emotive. It's not a child's play. When on Saturday, on Friday, the boys don't work on Saturday and Sunday. On Friday, the boys will come out, and you go to Marinya, you go to Banana Bar. The guys say, today my thanks to God is to give money and give drinks to everybody on the market. And they give because it's gold, it's money, it's a lot of money. Marinya market is the only market in Western where if you want to do an M-Pesa exchange, you can withdraw 500,000 at midnight. It is a 24-hour thing. It is not a joke. The gold they want to buy, to mine, my land, already boys are mining on Mukomari, Kakamega Mukomari, my land, 1269. They are mining gold now, but I don't disturb them because I know they are just scratching on the on the top. Yes, I'm telling you. We need to be heard, to be understood. They picked a few leaders, MCAs here, the governor there, MPs there, who do not understand these things. But I understand because I am born and bred. I was educated on the proceeds of Chang'an. When I was maturer in Form 3 and Form 4, I used to come, I was a day scholar. I used to go down so that I get some little money to top up my mother's Chang'an money for me to pay school fees. These are things we know.
People are asking, and they're saying, okay, this plan that you have, Kakamega City, changing the law and starting afresh with new law about how to mine these precious gold. How long is it going to take?
Legislation is nothing. We fast track legislation in Parliament all the time. We are going to fast track because these killings must stop, because this precious mineral must be extracted for the benefit of the entire nation.
Yeah.
Instead of us extracting it and getting trapped in a DRC Congo sort of, in a Sudan sort of problem, in a South Sudan sort of problem. We don't want the mineral gold to be a curse to the people of Kenya. We want it to be an opportunity. You can only convert it into an opportunity if you do proper legislation, if you respect the people, if you appreciate the diverse interests. You cannot do it by just seeing the gold in the precincts of the investor.
What we know is the company is planning to pump in 27 billion shillings to help with the exploration and everything.
Yes.
So where are you getting this 95% from?
The 27 billion they are going to expend is the 27 billion that will drive the technology
Correct.
of extracting,
Yes.
of mining, of processing and refining.
Correct.
Okay? It will cost them 27 billion shillings.
Correct.
680, yeah? Minus 27 billion. That is, balance is 653, right? So 653 billion, after they have extracted the cost of removal, 653 remains to them. They have other incidental costs which they'll meet. Give it probably another 50 billion shillings for those costs, whatever it is, and blah blah blah. They finish. So they remain with 600 billion shillings and walk away.
And minus, now you can remove.
Then you remove the 5%, which is around 4 billion shillings, max 5 billion. Then so they go away with 595 billion, and we in Kenya, we remain with 5 billion. In modern day, with the globalization, with the understanding of the global village, with youth like you, so equipped to capture things real time, we will be shortchanging you. Why? Because we are failing to negotiate. It's a question.
Do you have proof for this, Senator?
That's why I'm saying it. Anybody with a contrary view, let him support his views with what I'm saying. This is a matter which is dear to us. And I know if as leadership we don't apply our minds, young people will continue being killed.
How many people have died in this gold mine?
The Wengi, but we can talk about the ones who happened, the latest.
Yes,
there were three. There were three, very many injured, 150 arrested. We appealed to the government yesterday. Governor George Natembe and I, we made a formal request that they release all these people, return their motorbikes, start reconstructing the Musali Secondary School, which was run down, so that Tembers can calm down, for us to go back to the people with deliverables that, look, this is what the government is doing, stop fighting, we are talking on your behalf. Yeah,
so you've told, what is the way forward now? Are you saying that this process should stop, first of all, and let further engagements continue? Is that what you're trying to do?
Precisely. We are appealing and requesting that the fight which has taken place was not fighting over sharing of gold. The fight is because NEMA wanted to come and do a function called public participation. So we are saying this is not a matter of life and death. Please hold. Don't do the public participation, this conversation to take place, and after a way forward is done, we will then examine the NEMA report. We have refused to read the NEMA report.
Why?
Because it is an excuse to justify the illegality of the exploitative gold mining to continue. Yeah, but without the NEMA report, we know that the robust constitution of Kenya will protect the locals. Will ask, in the courts will ask Shanda Gold, where did you do public participation to justify your entry?
Eastern DRC, yes. And we've seen an accord being signed in Washington just over this weekend. Yeah, and what do you make? Because that accord means that the US companies will now have direct access to mining in Goma, down there in South Kivu.
But that is why it is not because of his love for Kagame and the people of Rwanda, or his love for Tshisekedi and the people of DRC. It is because he wanted to create the opportunity for American companies to continue exploiting the mineral resource of the DRC. I can assure you, just like daylight will end this evening and there will be night, I can assure you that accord is going to be preached very soon. Because a different set of leaders who feel otherwise will start agitating for a better deal, and then the thing will collapse. If there were no minerals in Goma, there would be no fighting. Why would somebody fight for the Kalahari Desert? They will fight for Kalahari Desert as soon as it is announced that underneath oil. The desert there is gold or there is oil. Let me tell you, we are old enough. When oil was struck in Turkana, do you know unscrupulous businessmen, some of them in leadership today, they went and bought oil blocks of up to 600, 800 acres, so that at the end of the day, the tomcats had moved in and the people of Turkana would remain in abject poverty. I have a dream that the exploitation of oil in Turkana will be handed over to the county government of Turkana, just like we handed over the Masai Mara and the Amboseli to the county government of Narok and the county government of Kajiado. That is how we are going to develop. Wow. Let me tell you, this studio of yours, it will have its headquarters in Lodwar. This studio of yours, you'll have no time having the headquarters in Nairobi. You'll have it in the gold city of Kakamega, because you want to go where there is business.
Lastly, Senator, let's get quickly to your kicking out. You are ejected as the chief whip of the majority party. Yes. Why were you kicked out?
Let me tell you, because of my background, we don't cry over spilled milk. The issue of being whipped is now water under the bridge. We have taken it in our stride and we are moving on, discharging national responsibilities. Don't forget, I have a very big opportunity to work for and on behalf of Kenyans to improve the well-being of Kenyans through legislation in Parliament. It is a very big role. My life has not come to an end because I'm still the senator of Kakamega. I can only use this opportunity to say how proud I am that for the last 3 years, through proper whipping, we've done a lot of work in Parliament. And the one who has taken over from me, I hope he'll continue doing the good work. Kenya is not about Dr. Boni Khalwale being a member of particular, a holder of a particular office. Okay. Kenya is about all of us winning.
Okay. Do you have any regrets? Because you campaigned for the opposition party and that was your Waterloo.
When I campaigned for Seth Panyako, my mind was very clear. I was not campaigning for any political party. Even if you ask me the full meaning of his party, which is DAP, I can get it there. I can easily get it wrong. I was campaigning for 1, a brother, 2, a friend, and 3, the immediate former vice chairman of UDA, who was a founder member of UDA.
But you had your own candidate.
Can I?
Yes. Yes.
So Seth Panyako, I owed him that him and I, we were founder members of UDA from our part of the community, the country. 2, he was our vice chair. And 3, he is my brother and a friend. In Luya culture, just like many other Kenyan communities, you don't stab a brother. I didn't care which party he was running on. And the people who are campaigning for other parties, you know them. Some of them are in UDA. You saw them on your screens here in the studio, up to and wearing paraphernalia
of ODM.
Of ODM. You didn't see me doing such a childish things. I was not in Malaba for small things like political parties. I was in Malaba for the big picture.
Do you regret? What was the big picture?
The big picture are the 3 limbs. My brother, founding member, vice chairman, and my friend.
Okay. Do you regret?
Regret for?
You making that decision that had to you that led to you being kicked out.
We are writing the history of the nation, and it will be written that to make a good decision, it doesn't have to be personal. If it was personal, I would have made other consideration, including what will be my fate. But because it was not personal, we are teaching our children, and I have some. Yes, I have them. God has blessed me with many children. I have some children. We are teaching our children that don't base your decision making on selfish interests. Always make decisions in the greater good of the public.
What were the parks in that office that you occupied?
The extra parks in the office include staff, support staff, so they have run out of a job. I have a personal attendant, a personal assistant. I have a principal research officer. I have got a secretary. I've got an office assistant. I have got an office messenger, and I have got a driver. Those are 6. So the young people have lost their jobs. They were employed by Parliamentary Service Commission.
And
it is nothing personal, because the guy who took over from him comes in with his own staff. So they are to give way. The ECO is only 1. The
president said that, or some of the people in the opposition, in the government now, were saying that you abandoned your post. You are not attending crucial meetings as the whip of the majority party. Is there any truth in that? The chief whip position, that you had the position but you were busy in the opposition side.
If I wanted to be in the opposition, I beg your pardon, I would have used the same energy to create an opposition, which I did, with President William Ruto, sufficient to help him to become president. So if I had preferred the other side, I would have been there. You know, it is starting to get lost to Kenyans that 2 Johnny come latelys, Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, came after we had already done the heavy lifting, and it was now apparent that William Ruto was going to be president. So that's when they came learning, and they said, hey, I've come with all the hallelujah. If they had come with all the hallelujah, why did they have the humiliation I gave them in Malaba the other day?
I thought it is them who gave you the humiliation because your candidate lost. Seth Panyako lost.
I didn't have a candidate. I was just supporting a brother. I was just supporting a brother and a friend.
The one you were backing lost, or was he rigged out?
That is again something that requires that you invite the credible election observers who made a formal report which confirmed that there were no free and fair elections. You cannot have a victor in an election where violence is so extreme that people lose their lives, cars are torched. You can't. So it is again another test on our democracy.
Okay. So they stole his win? Is that what you're saying?
I am saying it is hard to know who won because there was no free and fair election in Malaba and Mbere. The killings, the intimidation, the violence, the destruction of property, including torching cars, is the very reason why I, under the co-chairmanship of Kreitu Murungi and James Orengo, we midwifed and created the current election laws that speak to all those things. And God forbid, that should not be the situation that will be taking us to to the next general election.
Okay.
Thank you.
As I was doing the story about your ejection,
Yes.
I came across a clip.
Yes.
You were saying the president cannot access Kakamega or Western without you.
I can't remember where I said that.
You have a clip that you're saying that the president has to really consult you or come through you.
No. The president of the Republic of Kenya doesn't need you to go to your village. He is the president of all the villages of Kenya and the people who reside therein. Because matters are usually open to conjecture and interpretation, one would be free to twist it, especially in these days of social media. Otherwise, I am old enough, I'm sufficiently clear-minded to say that I have an adult responsibility to speak nothing but the truth all the time when I'm talking in public.
President Ruto, let me tell you, 2027 kitaumana.
Yes.
Uliambia rais kitaumana kama anakuwa naye.
Hapo ndio wakati utajua kwamba hapa Kakamega unahitaji Khalwale ndio ufaulu.
No, haijafika.
Kitaumana.
Kama nilikuwa nataka kusema kimeumana ningesema I said kitaumana. I was saying yes, and that was not the first time I was speaking to the same. I spoke to the same on the barrio of Maluli Njendi when I said, Your Excellency, the more development you do, the more you make it easy for me to look for votes for you for re-election. And for your information, let me tell you, up to now, President William Ruto has not failed to be my candidate of choice.
He will win.
Yeah?
2027. Will he win in 2027?
The country has a history. The country has a history of all our presidents getting a second term. I don't see why William Ruto should be an exception. The only way he can be an exception is if his politics are done badly. You know, you can be winning and then you spoil yourself.